All right, looks like we're going to have a Southern American brawl here in the finals. Insulinado and Carsi. This is going to be interesting to say the least. Again, Insulinado representing Team Hydra, who has been, whoo, that team has just been killing it as of late, winning tournaments. They had Deech win Fight Night from Team Hydra as well. As I think there was another event they actually took down as well. This would be like a triple crown type deal if Insulinado is able to take this home. So let's see if he's able to do it. Insulinado versus Carsi for the finals of OLS number 18.
But we are getting into the game finally. Carsi versus Insulinado, the finals of the first $100 online league series. The first 100+ player online league series as well. We're growing. We're getting up there.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I'm pretty excited. This tournament's only going to get bigger and better as the weeks go on. Very consistent, too. We are always having tournaments. So be on the lookout for more tournaments. If you guys are interested in joining in the future, you too can be casted by us playing in the finals. You never know. You can get here.
You make it sound like it's a cool thing. Most people hate it.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. I was going to say, Rico's probably going to come find us later and be like, you know, if you guys didn't have me turn on my stream and cast my game, I would have won that, all right?
So we've got a pretty ideal opener out of, I would even argue, both players. I mean, Ballistic Bot, that's probably about as much as you're looking for in the early game for Insulinado, right? Maybe you would like something like a Thermo Beam to try and sneak down on an early unit. Oh, and actually, we do find the Thermo Beam.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm like a little bit behind on how that all played out, so when the audio catches up, just understand I was lagging there.
So one thing I realized, too, I set up the view so that we could show the Celestials that are shown when we pick cards. We literally haven't even had any freaking Invoke matches the entire fun. Like, I think we had one earlier in the quarters.
What am I played Targon Plaza, but, you know.
That was it. So we're not even really using it.
There is a very specific subset of Brazil that is really into Invoke, and it is just like Trevo and everybody surrounded by Trevo. And then, Insulinado just not playing Targon at all.
Yeah. All right, well, there is the Thermo Beam if we do want to take care of this Zoe. It doesn't really feel good having to use a Thermo Beam or a Mystic Shot on the Zoe, but it's better than having the Zoe connect and getting a super cool star chart.
I don't know. I feel like just taking out this Zoe while my opponent's on 2 men is something I'm going to be absolutely elated about. You know, I don't have to worry about barriers or standalones or anything crazy. And it does go for the Thermogenic Beam. I'm curious what prompted that over the Mystic Shot. Maybe it is just that the Thermo Beam is something that's really difficult to get value with later on when your opponent still has a lot of mana. And the Mystic Shot can at least be used to pop barriers or soften things up for an execute.
Well, yeah, because I think Insulinado is going to be more concerned with keeping mana open for reactive spells in this match. And I don't think, like, Thermo doesn't fall into that category. It's not a reactive spell. It's slow. What happened?
Look at Insulinado's hand.
Oh!
We can get them all on field.
Oh, you need them all on field? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that I'm gonna do. Like,
my God.
You have to understand. You have to. Well, when we get all 3 on field,
that's like impossible, dude.
Yeah, you'll probably never hear it, and I will die with this secret.
What have you ever even seen in your life actually visually in the game 3 Leviathans on field?
Yeah, I've played a lot of TF Swing.
So you've actually gotten 3 on field. Oh yeah, that was like your deck.
One was silenced, but
all right, does that count?
Yeah, it counts. They're still there. I mean, we gave 3 Badger Bears a name, and he doesn't even have an effect.
All right, well, Fiora coming down, so it looks like Carsi maybe going to prioritize this Fiora win condition here. Not going to have anything to kill as of yet, I'll tell you that much. There is no units, and honestly, Fiora is going to be an issue right now for Insulinado just because, I mean, yeah, we have Flock, but we have no way of activating it. There's no other units that we can throw down. This hand is very, very clunky. We actually can't play anything this turn unless Carsi decides to develop a Sparkle Fly, then we can Mystic Shot it if we want. That does get blown out by a Pale Cascade. We could, if the Mentor gets played, that's going to be a pretty good Mystic Shot target because that does play around Pale Cascade, but that could actually be saved by a Sharp Sight if Carsi feels so inclined.
I feel like I hate casting games like this because it's just sort of looking at both players' hands and trying to figure out how the answers are going to line up for the threats. And SJW, now that you've run the numbers, who comes out on top of these interactions?
What interactions?
The back and forth of I try to threaten your life, you have an answer for it. You know, is the unit gonna die or is the unit gonna live?
I mean, I feel like Carsi always ends up on top, just because there's just way more reactive spells. I guess not necessarily more, but maybe spells that have more utility.
Yeah.
Just in something like Pale Cascade, like Sharp Sight, and then even Riposte. I mean, Riposte is good in that it provides barrier, and that's something that is very difficult. I guess not too difficult for Insulinado to deal with, just because you can't just chain additional. All right, I Mystic Shot you barrier. Okay, I'll just play a Ravenous Flock or another Mystic Shot or whatever on top of it. It's going to be interesting. There is going to be a lot of back and forth trading like that. And with this terrible hand from Insulinado, do you have to go for the Mystic Shot onto the Sparklefly?
I don't know how much the Sparklefly is actually representing at the moment. I think that you are a little bit more concerned with things like Zoe. Now you have a little bit of free reign to just take out whatever you need to. You could even kill this Fiora if you want to with the Mystic Shot Flock. And it looks like that is what we're going to go for.
Yep. And it feels like kind of I don't want to say, I'm going to say it because I have to say it feels like the best play for Insulinado, but it's not it doesn't feel great to do this right now, 2-for-1 on this Fiora.
There's a reason that Noxus Control never really took off, and one of the reasons is that you are consistently needing to 2-for-1 yourself to deal with units. Generally, you're going to have to get paired with PNZ for things like Static Shock and Mystic Shock to be able to like line up for these big execute type abilities, and it's not the most efficient way to play Noxus. That's why these are generally a little bit more mid-rangey, a little more aggressive. We're not going for like there's no Karina control where we take out PNZ and put Noxus in instead.
All right, well, now we are down to a Mentor of the Stones is really the only option for Carsi. We just drew a standalone, which feels kind of bad, just because we did put down both Sparkleflies. And none of these buffs, other than the standalone, are actually going to be permanent on the Sparklefly. So I think you just kind of forced to play the Mentor here. There's really no other choice. There it is. And House Spider, I mean, at least provides a blocker for the Mentor if we want to throw that down. Or we could even throw the Swain down here. I mean, granted, Carsi's not putting a lot of pressure on, right? So even though this hand is super clunky from Insulinado, I mean, if we don't do anything on the side of Carsi for the next couple of turns, we might actually see multiple Leviathans come down.
I'm actually really scared because I have an idea of what, like, this is a scripted moment, right? Like, when I see 3 Leviathans, like, I have a whole monologue I'm about to go through. I don't have that scripted yet. I didn't think this was going to happen today. I was woefully unprepared for this. And now the moment might not be as hype as I want it to be because there's a very good chance that Insulinado gets down all 3 Leviathans this game.
All right, Carsi, Insulinado, you guys gotta chill out for a second, okay? We can't.
Yeah, you gotta. All I need is a day, yeah. and I'm ready for it. But I wasn't ready today.
Oh man. Well, it does look like I'm surprised. So Carsi actually did decide to beef up that second Sparklefly there to push some additional damage. But we'll see if that's gonna matter. I mean, I do think that at this point. I guess I'm not too surprised because the way that Carsi's hand is playing out, we're going to win just attacking with these elusives. Like, that's the only choice that we have right now in this game. Otherwise, we get Leviathan Swain down and the game's just over.
So if I've done my math correctly, if Insulinado attacks and Carsi blocks with the 1/2 Sparklefly, he has lethal next turn. Because that'll open up standalone. You know, double Riposte, gems, Sharp Sight. Like, I definitely think you can get the Sparklefly up to 14 attack.
Yeah, that's interesting. That actually might dissuade Insulinado from attacking, which feels terrible because this feels like a good attack.
I feel like Insulinado has a read that Carsi doesn't have standalone since turn 4 was running out 2 Sparkleflies alongside of Fiora. Yeah. That's generally not something your opponent's doing if they have standalone. Now,
you could, to play around that, just attack with the Swain. Then it forces the block on the larger Sparklefly, and if anything, and then you could actually Scorched Earth that Sparklefly.
If Carsi does go for that block, I would imagine all 3 gems are going to immediately come out onto the larger Sparklefly post-combat.
Yeah, that would heal it back up. Okay, well, that takes that off the board.
I'm going to use one right now.
So that's not going to be a thing anymore. So that might actually be good for Insulinado if that's the route that we're going here. Okay, so now it doesn't matter. So if we do attack with just Swain, that means that it's just going to kill the Swain on the block. So
oh, but we're actually okay. Not locking it in just yet.
I'm curious. This doesn't seem. I mean, oh man. Well, I think triple Leviathan on the field is going to go down the drain, Boulevard, because I have a feeling if this Sparklefly blocks a Draven. Oh, never mind. He is just going to have that one die. Okay, I was going to say maybe we lose a Spinning Axe. Lose a Leviathan to Spinning Axe. But it's still a dream. We still have the triple Leviathan, Boulevard.
It's a nightmare for me right now. I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
Or somebody contact Insulinado and be like, listen, Boulevard needs you to throw all 3 of these down on the field. Just throw the game.
He's on my friends list. I'm gonna be like, look, can you do me a favor real quick? Just don't do this. Not today. You can next time for sure, but not today.
Oh man. All right. Yep. So the Sparklefly is going to die and push some damage through on the side of Insulinado. But yep, here's the standalone.
And now we have lethal with double riposte.
Yeah, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's exact lethal.
Trying to figure out math here. We got 9 mana. Because technically the safer way to do it is like Bastion, Gem, Sharpsight riposte, but I think we're just shy of having that available.
Gem, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, we're too shy of that.
Yeah.
Now, is it ever safe to go for double riposte?
Yeah, I am. One of the things that we talk about a lot is that these Piltovers on Noxus decks do not deal with large units that are undamaged in combat.
Yep. Yeah, and here's... All right, we're going to start with a gem first, actually.
Okay, and the riposte.
So maybe we're just doing a little bit safer, just using a sharp sight instead, just committing less. Okay, that makes sense.
And yeah, I mean, we can see... Okay.
I'm
safe for now.
Man, I really thought we were going to go ahead and get the triple Leviathan there. Feels bad, man.
I was sweating.
Oh, man. All right, well, first game of the finals, and we have, wow, Carsi picking up a win over Insulinado with the Zoe Fiora. Like, yes, that did just happen. That just happened. And that is, I mean, listen, for anybody who might have been here for quite some time playing Runeterra and, you know, maybe since closed beta, open beta, you know, when this game first came out, standalone was 3 mana, and this is what standalone decks did. They buffed up one big unit that would just go in. You know, there was Zed was really good with it. You know, Kinku Lifeblade was busted with it for similar reason.
Solitary Monk even.
Yeah, and so this was why Kinku Lifeblade was busted with it, for the same reason why Sparklefly's busted with it. And you can argue Sparklefly is even worse than maybe a Kinku Lifeblade just because it's cheaper. Right? Sparklefly is only 2 mana. You only need 6 mana to get down to Sparklefly plus a standalone and get the win.
All right, we're getting into game number 2, and as you had mentioned, Carsi picked up that win. So curious to see what was banned, because I feel like this is the second match now that we've seen Carsi play where we thought that this Fiora Zoe was going to be the ban, but was not the case. Why does mine keep freezing?
Yeah. Why don't you get that toaster fixed, Boulevard? All right?
I don't think it's me. I have a microwave oven.
Oh.
Right.
Yo, excuse me.
Actually, my computer's like an air fryer.
You're in the...
It's hot in there. It's probably hotter than it should be, but...
All right. So, and I actually think mine probably just froze too. From the way it's looking, I think it did. So I'm gonna restart it regardless of if it did or didn't.
Yeah, serves you right now.
You know what?
Trying to bully me.
You're usually the one bullying people, all right? All right, here we go.
I've never bullied anyone in my life.
Never. What's your nickname again?
Boulevard.
No, what's your nickname?
That's it. That's the name.
Are you sure about that?
I don't know if you know this, SJW, but that's not my real name.
All right, here we go. We are in the game. We'll get the second hand back up for you guys in just a moment. And to start on the side of Carsi, we do have House Spider. And Mystic Shot you really aren't going to want to use on a House Spider. Feels like a pretty bad trade there, obviously.
Yeah. Okay, there's no chance Triple Leviathan comes down in a Swain mirror, right? Eventually, like, they're going to start blowing these things up as soon as they can. The sea mines are going to be, all over the place. Dangerous traps set.
Yeah, this time Insulinado, though, has much better hand. I mean, we have Draven to get started, too, so this, I think we're in a much better spot now to actually just, stay in the game. Before we had the 3 Leviathans, they didn't do anything. They literally just stayed in hand the entire game. We didn't even make it to turn 8. Much different case this time around. We do have plenty of removal, plenty of options to do with the board. Playing Draven now, not on your attack turn, not too much of a risk. There's nothing, even with the keg, that should be able to take care of Draven right now.
No, but we are going to go all in with these units and say, go ahead, set up your Draven for a Ravenous Flock. And honestly, I think Insulinado is going to be okay with that because it would be a very inefficient use of the keg.
I got to agree.
Granted, I think just in general, this is not a matchup where you can really get good keg value.
On the side of Carsi, you think so? I mean, I guess, yeah, because you have Swain and Leviathan are such large units, you're never really going to get... you just have to damage them, period, to be able to use executes. Yeah. So it doesn't matter if you're dealing 1, 2, or 3.
And it's also that Make It Rains and red cards. For the most part, you're only ever going to be able to get 1 keg down, especially against a deck with as much fast speed removal as Draven Swain. And you really need 2 kegs to actually wipe boards for the most part. And you're actually not even going to be able to pop this keg in response. That's going to be another Axe or Insulinado. And then, we get to go on Mr. Twisted Fate's Wild Ride. I'm pretty sure it doesn't work out because we do see both a Mystic Shot and a Tri-Beam Improbulator. But, in the meantime, we can struggle and kick and scream and try to get ourselves to this alternate win con. But I got to say, it seems like Insulinado, at the moment, is in a bit of a better position. But if we see, something really impactful like a Noxian Guillotine come out of the Zap Sprayfin and then I don't know, maybe Make It Rain top decked a little bit later on, we could see some really big swings on the side of Carsi later on.
And it looks like, we're going to get that Spinning Axe there. If Boulevard really cared about us, we would have the second hand right now. But he hates us, everybody. What? He doesn't like us very much.
Oh, I forgot that.
I knew. I was like, this took a little bit longer than I expected.
Yeah, no, that's my bad. I forgot that I had to start sharing my screen again. This is why I don't do production.
Multitasking. Hashtag multitasking. All right, I was wondering. I was like, he's saying Twisted Fate. That's something that we don't know. What's going on here?
Yeah, here you go, guys. You can see it in all its glory. Carsi 5's hand. Glory might not be the right word for it, but not going to get greedy with the blue card. Just going to take out this Draven because we don't want to have to commit resources onto it, and that quick attack is going to be a little bit of a pain, as well as, it is a fearsome blocker. Going to get in the way of our Swain, but yeah, I got to say, it feels like Insulinado is really in the driver's seat of this one.
All right, Mystic Shot, yeah. Just starting that drive here with the Mystic Shot onto the Twisted Fate, which, hey, Insulinado knows where it's at. Twisted Fate hits the board, it's gone. Get rid of it. Don't even wait for a draw.
0 out of 8, that's a problem. It could level at any moment.
Bye-bye.
All right, so we're actually going to use Shrooms just to free up a little bit of hand space.
I love the emote game. Yeah, and that's right, everybody. Don't forget, if you're just joining us for the finals, you can donate channel points to get myself and Boulevard one of these days, probably another OLS, to cast a game, or a match, I should say, not using card names. Only allowed to use actor names, video game character names, and anime character names. Gonna be interesting. So we'll see what Carsi decides to do here. We could drop a Swain. Not going to be able to get through with the Chump Wump as the fearsome blocker.
Do you know what you call 3 Swains?
Oh, you are going to let us know what you call 3 Swains? This isn't going to be a secret?
Yeah, do you know what you call 3 Swains?
Something with birds.
A flock.
What?
Got him!
Oh, my. was actually probably one of the best pun/jokes I've heard in a long time for Runeterra.
I'm ashamed of myself that I was the one that put that in.
That was Jesus Christ. You heard it here first, folks. 3 Swains is a flock.
It's actually 2 flocks.
Oh! Oh, man. Oh, all right. Well, yeah, we got 2 Swains now, so we'll see who decides to kind of make the first move here.
Okay, so when was the last time that you saw a player try to culling strike a Swain and it worked?
Not for quite some time. What are these at? So we have...
They're both at 2 out of 12.
Oh, yeah, it's going to work. It would work. I would totally recommend culling strike a Swain. I mean, that's a really high value culling strike too, and I totally think Carsi should go for it here.
Oh, they're spinning axes, SJW. You didn't even notice,
oh,
did you?
Jesus, yeah, that's a good point.
I got you lost in the sauce.
Well,
but we do have red card into Noxie and Guillotine on the following turn, and that is going to clean up the jump wump as well. We still have... the problem is we don't really have a great blocker for the Swain outside of our own Swain, and you really don't want to push damage onto this unit. You would love to keep it at full HP, but I don't... Well, no, there's 3 flocks. Insulinado's hand is so crowded and hard to keep track of. I just see all these axes, and there's real cards kind of sprinkled in there.
Well, and not to mention a Shroom, right? And
yeah, but actually forcing 2 red cards out of Carsi, it really hurts the way that this deck generally keeps up in card advantage.
So one of these flocks, too, just something to note, is a Flane's Raven. Or, wow, Flane. Woo! You got me on the flock now, Swains. Is a Swain's Ravenous flock. So let's keep that in mind. Yeah, really unfortunate that the axes... I mean, that's a neat little synergy I wasn't even really thinking of when, you know, watching Draven Swain decks. Just the ability to save a non-leveled Swain. I highly doubt that usually comes into play, putting it above that 3 attack threshold, but, you know, do what you can.
For the most part, I am not a fan of Culling Strike in any deck outside of Frostbite midrange. Yeah. I know it's been splashed in as a one-of in a lot of Swain decks in the past. You'll even see it every now and then in Draven Ezreal. It's not common, but players do bring it, and I am just really, for the most part, not a fan of it.
Yeah, you know what? It's interesting, too, that card has never really, like, rose to prominence by any means. It does such a very straightforward effect. Like, it 3 or less attack kills a unit. Seems like it would be okay. Seems like it would be decent. But it's just never really found a huge spot in the meta outside of, like you said, something like mid-range Frostbite. I think when the game first came out, it was heavily played, but since then...
Are we? I think Insulinado is going for the Draven level, and, I mean, if you're Carsi, do you feel like this is something that you have to Noxie and Guillotine?
Ooh.
I feel like there's a philosophy that players fall into a lot, where you are so concerned with not letting your opponent do what they want to do.
Yep.
And yeah, Carsi doesn't fall for it. Says, oh, you use the axis. Now I have the green light to Culling Strike the Swain. But, you know, Insulinado does have a second Swain.
Yeah, I do like that, taking the opportunity to Culling Strike the Swain. Sweet Blood, thank you for the raid. You guys are making it just in time for the finals of OLS 18 here. We have 2 representatives, one from Venezuela, one from Brazil in the finals. And Carsi right now up 1-0. And we did just see a level Draven, so you guys are getting in right at the action here. Yeah, I do like that. I don't think... See, a level Draven in this matchup, I really don't think is too scary, right? It's not doing a whole lot here. You're going to get, sure, axe generation, but right now your hand's a little crowded. I don't even really know if you want spinning axes.
Well, you're going to take them one way or another. I mean, you still have a couple of decent discard targets. We've got the Puff Cap, so seeing some action out of Insulinado. What are we lining up here?
Oh,
okay,
3 damage.
Yeah, I mean, it's not Swain killing like we had seen in the previous match, but, it's going to damage it. It's going to set it up for the Ravenous Flock, and 3 drops are okay. They're not bad.
Yeah, we'll see what we get from it. Yeah, that last match that we saw, I mean, a 7 Tri-Beam you don't really see every single day, but there is going to be the Flock coming down, taking care of this Draven. I think Carsi's going to be pretty happy about that, too, still being able to deal with the Draven after having used the Culling Strike on the Swain. Those are really high-value cards you're getting rid of with a Culling Strike and a Ravenous Flock, so it feels real good. That is a low roll. That feels bad. Not even a fearsome blocker, man. Whew.
Yeah, definitely not ideal. And we do still have a spinning axe, so it is going to be a fearsome blocker. We actually can use it to trade onto the Swain. But, I mean, we talked about this before. It's Thursday, man. We need Friday to come, and then the real games start to play out where everybody's throwing down Leviathans. And it looks like both of them are going to be able to hold all 3 of the spell mana into the following turn, depending on what Insulinado is lining up here. But since it's just a flock, I think we're going to be safe. And honestly, neither of these players can deal with Leviathan.
It just occurred to me, you just so nonchalantly said it's Thursday. And for anybody who's just joining us, they're probably like, what are these guys smoking? Like, it's Sunday.
I've been casting for so long that I've been using weird lingo the whole time. You got to watch more to catch up.
There's a lot of inside jokes here on these casts. For those of you who did just join, Thursday means turn 6. Or sorry, turn 7. Turn 7.
Really in a matchup, it's all about 8 drops. But Insulinado actually throws down the Swain, so not going to be able to hold any mana into Friday when the party really starts off. But I don't think it matters too much, right? Neither of these players actually have the capabilities to do anything with that 3 spell mana that is impactful.
Yeah. On the bright side, Carsi does have good old Betty Croker that we're used to seeing in this TF Swain deck. Yep, we are going to get Betty Croker down onto the Zap Spray Fin. So we are valuing, not getting any damage onto this TF. Makes sense. You don't want to put it in range of something like Flock. As of right now, I mean, now we actually have Swain at a sweet 4 out of 8. That is danger zone, man.
Yeah, and Carsi picks up Make It Rain.
Okay. I thought you were going to say Insulinado, but yeah.
No, I mean, so that gives you the... Oh, man, this is going to be a little awkward because that sets up for the double guillotine really nicely. But Insulinado can double flock one of his own units to dodge the guillotine and at least make it so that one of the units will survive. I just don't know if that's going to be enough. And if Insulinado actually goes for the Leviathan this turn, Carsi gets a full board clear.
That's gonna be rough. We'll see what Carsi decides to do next. Leviathan, I mean, again, we've gone over this in the past. Putting down a Leviathan, regardless of what the matchup is, when you're on full mana and your opponent still has, basically full mana, you never want to commit that much mana with your opponent still having that much open. So I don't think we're going to see the Leviathan here. Actually, just going to get a pass. And if Insulinado goes for Leviathan here, yeah, Make It Rain and Noxie and Guillotine is going to feel freaking amazing. That's going to be a blowout.
And I mean, I gotta say, Insulinado probably feels pressured to throw down the Leviathan. Yeah. You've got 2 of them. You're thinking, what's the worst case scenario? And if you do just pass here, Carsi's open attack is looking pretty decent. Or even if he wants to go for that super aggressive Arachnoid Sentry into an attack, that is way too much damage coming at Insulinado. And Carsi plays Noxian Fervor. He's got that over the top damage.
And
second Sentry is so big.
Wow, that actually could just be. That could just be game here. Oh, okay. So that shroom does stun the Twisted Fate. So that is something.
Oh, the Death's Hand. The Death's Hand turns off everything.
Death's Hand is also going to give you a stun as well as possibly a kill onto something. So I think Insulinato's in a good spot. That pass was really, really smart by Insulinado. It didn't feel good at all, and it's kind of hard to argue in that spot. That passing is the right move, but I think it was all right. I think we're still in a good spot, and now we're gonna get back into that phase of, all right, are we just gonna keep passing back and forth now? What's gonna happen? And this might be a good spot for Insulinado to drop. Actually, no. If he does drop Leviathan, we still have the 9 mana for Make It Rain and Noxie and Guillotine.
Yeah, I mean, if Insulinado wants to, he can just Death's Hand this Arachnoid Sentry. It's gonna stun another unit because we have the Swain on field. You're really not pushing through nearly as much damage as you were hoping to on the side of Carsi, and part of that is from the Mushroom top deck, and it is funny that, Carsi throwing out emotes when the mushrooms were getting shuffled in. It wasn't even something Insulinado was planning for. It was just, I have 10 cards in hand, I can't afford to overdraw, let me throw this mushroom in, and now, 5 turns later, it's paying dividends.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't think Insulinado can play anything here still. I'm... Now, if you're Insulinado, and you're not playing these Leviathans, Actually, I'll ask this after. If Insulinado doesn't play the Leviathan after this attack, I'll be very, very surprised. So let's see if this happens. Especially now that he's committing a flock, I think we're gonna see Leviathan, and it's still going to end up being punished by Guillotine and Make It Rain.
Yeah, but then Insulinado gets thrown out the Leviathan again on the following turn. The reason that it was so risky at the end of his attack turn. Okay, just continuing to pass and saying this Swain is all I need to hold it down. You need to develop another Fearsome blocker, and that flock is not what I expected out of Carsi.
Wow. I am so surprised.
I think that at this point, Carsi is making the read that Insulinado just doesn't have Leviathan.
Yeah.
And that this Swain is the only threat. But I am still surprised to see Flock used rather than Make It Rain to set it up for some kind of execute.
Yeah, Flock is a much bigger commitment. Usually you want to save Flock for just more of a high value trade. I mean, I guess it's getting high value, dealing 4 damage to something like a Swain.
Okay, now we see the Leviathan. Yep. This does still set up the double...
Execute.
Or no, not the double execute.
No, we have... No, we can't. We cannot do double execute now.
Yeah. So it looks like Insulinado might have had a read that Guillotine and Make It Rain was some kind of consideration. Yeah. Although I don't know how much it really matters. We can still go for, the Make It Rain Guillotines next turn, but that does mean that we can't get down our own Leviathan. This is certainly a bit of a pickle for Carsi.
If we rain, we can still... I mean, we have to absolutely get rid of one of these, right?
Yeah, you would still be able to double Guillotine on the following turn, but then Insulinado just throws down another Leviathan, and you don't actually have an answer for that unless you can find another damaging spell.
All right, looks like we are going to set up and try to just max value Guillotine here.
I'm a little surprised by this because you think, okay, develop a Fearsome blocker, but all your units are going to be stunned.
Or he's actually... All right, yeah, so he's playing it... All right, so he's going to allow the units to get stunned, play the Make It Rain, and then just now he can play... Or no, because the second Guillotine isn't going to come into hand until after. So this means we're still going to take 5 more damage to face.
And the Guillotine's not even going to work. Insulinado can just flock his own Swain, and you have to go for the Swain before you go for the Leviathan. Yeah. You cannot let your board get wiped here and take that 7 damage attack from Swain. I think that Carsi has been outmaneuvered here in the late game by Insulinado as long as we get that flock onto the Swain.
Yeah, and I think...
And that still leaves us with enough mana to play Leviathan.
Yeah, here we go. I think this is exactly what's going to happen here. And that second Leviathan coming down is just... That's going to seal the deal, actually, right? There's no...
Yeah, that's going to be lethal.
Just game. Yeah, this is game. The way this plays out, it's game. So let's see if Insulinado does see the flocking of the Oni unit. Yes, he does. And that is going to mean 5 damage to face... An 8-mana Leviathan coming down. Boulevard, we got 2 out of 3 of the way there. Can you just tell us what it is?
No. It's a whole act, a whole scene.
Damn it. Come on, please.
And I think this is one of the reasons that we're seeing players going for Scorched Earth over Guillotine, even in, maybe they're not expecting a lot of plazas or other landmark decks, but when you have something like Noxian Guillotine, you can set yourself up into situations like this where you're trying to get maximum value out of it, and if it doesn't work out, then you can lose the game off of it. And, I mean, Carsi might as well just play out the rest of the hand here. Just throw down the Leviathan, throw down this other thing. It doesn't really matter at this point. All Insulinado has to do is stick that second Leviathan, and it's going to be lethal at the start of Carsi's turn. And honestly, I don't think you have a much better play.
Yeah, so I think this is another example. We saw it a little bit earlier of Carsi trying to greed something out. I forget who it was earlier. I don't know if it was actually Insulinado or not, but I think he was just really trying to greed out the multiple guillotines, and it just didn't work. All right, hold on. You didn't clarify. I'm calling you out in a technicality. There's 3 Leviathan on the field.
Yeah, but
you said on the field. You didn't say which side.
Versus one wolf. You don't call it a pack of wolves. It's only a pack when they're all together.
No. You didn't clarify what side of the field.
I don't care if I didn't clarify. You can't get me on a technicality. I just won't say it.
All right, Insulinado is going to take game 2 there over Carsi. That means we are going to get a game 3 in the finals. What would the finals be?
I didn't expect to say that Indoor Spiders was going to get banned today. If you told me that we were getting into the finals and someone was going to ban Endure because that looked like the most threatening deck out of their opponent's lineup, that I did not expect.
Well, you got to take into consideration too that both players are playing your not so typical lineups.
Oh, for sure.
So maybe Endure for those particular lineups is kind of a concern. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to look at the lineups for a little bit longer just because I'm not used to seeing these lineups like at all. Again, for anybody who might just be joining us for the finals here, we have all of day one yesterday. We saw a huge diversity of deck archetypes. Now there's actually 17 different deck archetypes in the top cut, in the top 8. So when you think about that, there's 24. Wait, do I have that right? 8, 16, 24? Math. 24 total decks in the top cut. Each player brings 3 decks, and out of all of those, 17 of them are completely different. And the most popular one was Swain Ezreal. Ezreal Draven. See, now I just mix and match all 3 of them wrong all the time.
It's so they're cool they're the cool kids club.
Yeah, basically.
But only 2 of them are allowed to go out at the time. You have to use the buddy system.
So, and there was 4 of those, and those are already out. I mean, they're not in the finals here. So, very, very awesome tournament as far as diversity is concerned. I'm very excited that we had that sort of diversity in a tournament like this.
So, based on the way that the decks are going to line up going into the last game here, I really think I have to favor Insulinado because it's either fearsome or it's Feel the Rush. And I don't think Twisted Fate Swain really deals with either of those super well. Fearsome, yeah, you do have more fearsome blockers in TF Swain than you would in something like Gohard, especially because we are on Petty Officers and Arachnoid Sentries. But still, a lot of 2 HP units. And then on the side of Feel the Rush, Avalanche, once again, just preying on those 2 HP units.
Yeah, and Avalanche, Jesus, that's a card we haven't really seen all day either. I mean, Feel the Rush hasn't had a huge showing between yesterday and today, but it has showed up in the finals. We did see it, I think, at least a couple times. I think we saw it maybe even just once, actually, in the day one. Wasn't a hugely popular deck, but, I mean, hey, it made it to the finals at the end of the day. So, not quite Rico Rex lineup, but, you know, we're getting there.
It's definitely interesting nonetheless, and I want to give props to these players for making it this far with these really, sort of subtypical lineups. I don't think anybody that was a betting man would have expected to, see these specific lineups in here.
Yep, and again, we're just waiting for Insulinado and Carsi to get started here, so I imagine they're just taking their time in the lobby. We'll get started in just a minute for Game 3. Is what we're waiting on currently to decide who the winner is going to be of OLS 18. Again, $100 prize pool here, $55 on the line for the winner, $25 for second place, $10 for both third and fourth place. And they definitely deserve it at this point. It's been a long road to get to where we are in the finals right now between Insulinado and Carsi. Again, representing Venezuela and Brazil. I hate when this happens.
Just this awkward downtime of waiting for game. This is supposed to be the most hype moment, and we're not sure what's going on. I would assume that one player just ran to the bathroom and will be back momentarily.
Yeah.
But...
I always feel like we should bring it back over to us, but look at I kind of do. We already saw the Zoe Fiora deck win. I wanted to actually look at that more, but I don't think it's gonna matter. So I guess what was the other deck then on the side of
Carsi?
Yeah.
Indoor Spiders.
That's right, it was the Indoor Spiders.
Oh, they're in it. We got them. They're in the
game. All right, let's go. I was just going to go ahead and I was just going to take a deep dive into one of the decks again, but All right, here we go. We are about to start Game 3, OLS number 18. We got Insulinado and Carsi. Way to break your computer, Boulevard. Don't forget us.
I don't know what it is. It's just the finals. I haven't been able to get into the game consistently, but I'll remember to screen share this time.
All right, so we do have Fearsome, it looks like, going up against Carsi here. All 3 drops to get started. I am actually, just in case, also going to restart here. The spectator anyways, just so that we don't miss too much. At this point, we just both kind of expect that it's going to crash the first time we get into the game, so we just restart it immediately. All right, here we go.
Are we doing it? Are we
We're
finally
doing it.
getting in?
We're doing it.
Nice.
We're doing it.
All right, so we are going to have Fearsome up against the TF Swain, and I do think that is going to be a little bit of a better matchup, a more winnable matchup for Carsi than Feel the Rush would have been.
Oh, 100%. I love the Feel the Rush ban. Feel the Rush, I think, absolutely kills Carsi's deck here. And this Fearsome matchup, although Insulinado could still super high roll and take home a win, I mean, that's kind of what you have to worry about with these aggro type decks. I mean, sometimes they high roll, sometimes they don't, you know?
I was going to say Harrowing is, once again, just not something Carsi's going to deal with super well, and Insulinado is playing 3 full copies of that card.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. Now that we're not seeing, I'd say in the top cut, we're not really seeing too much representation of Deny, because we didn't see a lot of Zoe Lee Sin. It's interesting that the players that did make it to the finals, or specifically
no Ionia.
No Ionia, period?
No Ionia, period.
Wait, what about, wasn't there a Zoe Lee Sin?
No, that's a Zoe Diana, or a Zoe Fiora.
No, I mean in the entire top cut.
Oh, yeah, in the entire top cut. Yeah, I was talking finals specifically.
There was only one in the entire top cut, though, right?
2 Zoe Lee, 2 Invoke.
2 Zoe Lee. Okay, so even then, there's only 2 decks total that have Deny, right? And that's way lower than usual. So Insulinado being in the finals, honestly, I think that's kind of a meta read of this tournament. You're playing a deck with Harrowing. You're playing a deck with Field of Rush. I think it was a pretty smart decision on the side of Insulinado.
No, I'd have to agree with you, but we'll see if it was a smart enough decision to be able to take it all the way here in Game 3 against Carsi 5, who I wanted to talk about this Petty Officer Make It Rain. We talked a lot about how the Go Hard versus Fearsome matchup felt a lot more winnable for Go Hard when they started including additional keg generation and going in for Withering Whales. Make It Rain is not quite as consistent and doesn't have that life gain on top of it. I am a little worried I mean, how many times have we seen the Make It Rain dishonorable mention? You know, just completely whiffing on what we needed it to do, not killing all the units, not hitting enough units, or just hitting face when we would love to just ping anything else and set it up for a Ravenous Flock.
God, I can't even copy-paste things right sometimes. Jesus. Terrible human being.
I'm like, oh man, shit's being kind of quiet. Oh, he's being a boomer in chat, that's why.
Oh, man. So we're going to get the Zap Spray Fin down from Carsi, and that is going to grab us the Ravenous Flock. So Insulinado, I mean, Carsi's going pretty wide. I will say the Make It Rain. So you asked me how I kind of thought, or what I thought about Make It Rain a little bit earlier. In this matchup particularly, one keg doesn't quite get it done enough, right? Like you're going to upgrade that Make It Rain to 2 damage on everything, but most everything, I mean, you still have this Wraithcaller, you still have this Elise that are going to be a problem. You have other 3 health units. Now, we'll get rid of the miss rates, but generally speaking, you go so wide, I mean, you can't guarantee you're going to hit those miss rates, so I don't know how useful this Make It Rain is going to be.
I mean, Carsi's hand looks awkward, but I don't think he's out of the woods yet. I think that what he has is going to be able to deal with the board. Probably going to be able to survive the Harrowing, but be pretty much ruined for it. And then, I mean, looking at Insulinado's hand, this Doom Beast, probably going to be that little bit of extra reach that you need. Mm-hmm. The Frenzied Skitterer, if you can get that into the pool for the Harrowing, that is going to be a complete disaster for Carsi. I really like Insulinado's chances in this game with the way that the hands have actually lined up.
Right, and actually not pulling the keg too, which I do think is smart because I think you understand that your opponent's going to use the keg anyways, so you want to try to either force more damage or force trading because you're going to win out on trades on the board. And what does this Make It Rain hit?
It is a perfect Make It Rain.
Ooh, that is a perfect Make It Rain.
It is hitting both Mist Wraiths and the Wraithcaller.
Well, listen, I take it all back. You asked me how Make It Rain was earlier. Make It Rain is amazing. It's one of the best cards in the game.
I think we might see a Pale Cascade here to save one of these Mist Wraiths and still push through all that damage. Actually, I lied. This is an imperfect Make It Rain because one of the Mist Wraiths that it's hitting was already dying to Death Sand.
Oh.
So we could have hit face.
All right, so actually going to go ahead and save this Mist Wraith all the way to the left side. It's going to push 5 damage and save it.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Carsi's hand, SJW. I'm not seeing a way out of this Harrowing.
Yeah, and that is almost definitely going to be not a turn 6 harrowing because we do have the attack token on odds, but it's looking like we're going to get a turn 7 harrowing. I guess the question is do we ever play these units here?
I mean, I could see Doom Beasting. The Skitterer would seem a little bit weird to me.
Yeah, it feels bad the Skitterer's not in the death pool, of course, but I don't think you're too worried about that, though. A lot of the units Carsi plays aren't going to be fearsome blockers anyways. And honestly, this hand, Carsi, to salvage this early against a deck like this, you do not need card advantage. You need things that deal with cards on the field. And
I think one thing that Insulinado is aware of that Carsi can sort of play towards is, unlike Draven Ezreal or Draven Swain even, there's not a lot of slow speed interaction in Carsi's deck. Most of it is going to be happening in combat, so he does have the opportunity to set up to deal with a harrowing a little bit better than some of the other Noxus decks in the format, that if they think a harrowing's not coming, they're going to be a little bit more liberal with their tri-beams or their thermo beams. They don't have as much in-combat stuff, whereas every card in Carsi's hand, outside of this Twisted Fate, can come out in combat to deal with a unit.
Yeah, we have... I mean, Noxian Fervor should take care of 2 blocks.
Yeah, Flock gets to... I don't think Carsi's going to commit anything additional on this turn. I think that you do want to keep this damaged unit around into your opponent's turn so that the harrowing... that's one more thing that you can actually hit.
Yeah, which is why I'm surprised to see this.
Insulinado is just saying, harrowing is not plan A. First, you have to deal with my entire board. Yeah. And to do that, you have to commit additional resources. And that's where this comes up really big for Carsi, is that he doesn't have to commit the resources here. He can wait until in combat, whereas a Draven Swain deck perhaps would have to commit a couple of cards this turn because they're at slow speed, and you need to preserve your life total, and then the harrowing gets a lot more value against them.
Yeah, a lot more reactive cards in the deck of Carsi. You even see the Death's Hand going to come in pretty big, I think. Even man, it feels bad that we don't have a keg. If we were able to get a keg down this turn, that means in response to a harrowing, we could play TF red card, which would feel absolutely amazing, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case here. So I don't know. I mean, Carsi still might be in this, but again, this deck, no heal. So it's going to be rough.
Yeah. I think it's going to be... I think Carsi's going to live through the turn, certainly, but after that, you're still getting a decent amount of resources out of your opponent. We could even see the Arachnoid Horde, or the Frenzied Skitterers come down. But with this Arachnoid Sentry top deck, I mean, yeah, maybe that is what Carsi needed. Maybe that Sentry top deck is going to be enough to at least survive this. But, I mean, Carsi looks so far away from winning the game. If he had a Leviathan, then I would feel a little bit better about his chances. But as it stands now, I still think that he's really back against the wall.
Here's the problem. I think what's going to happen is Insulinado can just go super wide this turn. We can go... we can at least go Mist Wraith and Frenzied Skitterer. The Arachnoid Sentry is going to take care of 2 units, and then we have tools in our hand to basically deal with the whole attack. But then by the time it swings back around to turn 9, I don't know if Carsi's going to have enough tools to deal with harrowing. Not to prevent just 9 damage coming through, right? Not to mention Atrocity. Like, we even have Atrocity to play in response to stuff. So, oof. Do you play the Frenzied Skitterer first there, or do you play the Mist Wraith? Just to try to... Because if Arachnoid Sentry is an option...
I think you play Skitterer first because you can still go for second Skitterer, and honestly getting that +1 attack onto multiple spiders seems pretty okay.
Yeah, it's just mana efficient too. We'll roll the 3 mana into our next turn.
This also sets up a really good harrowing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's Skit. And
I still don't know how harrowing is going to determine which to summon first between Doom Beast and Frenzied Skitterer.
Yeah, how does it go by order of death?
I just said I don't know.
I'm really curious. I wonder if anybody has ever looked at, or maybe it's most recent death is what gets summoned first, and it goes...
Maybe it goes a layer deeper and it could look at keywords. Be like, this is the stronger unit because it has fearsome.
Does it rank the keywords then? Like what's strong? Is elusive or fearsome stronger? Like what's... So which one gets summoned?
Harrowing knows. It's a very intelligent 5-head card that will look at the board state and say, I know what you need.
Deech in chat says keywords, but then I'm curious as to how it prioritizes keywords if that's the case.
Oh, it's simple. Actually, if you go through the card database, there are no two cards with the same attack, health, cost, and two separate keywords. Don't check me on that.
There probably is.
There almost certainly. But if Deech said it, I'm willing to believe it.
Deech just knows, he's all knowing, right? All right, well, so what I was mentioning earlier seems like it is coming to fruition. You know, obviously Carsi able to pretty handedly deal with the entire board of Insulinado there. But it's starting to look, things are starting to look better for Carsi. It's really just going to be whether or not Carsi can deal with the harrowing when it eventually comes down.
I'm trying to figure out if Insulinado atrocities this turn.
Oh, just to, I mean, it clears your board and it gets removal out. I don't hate it.
Yeah, it clears your board. It pushes a little bit of damage. I don't, because harrowing is kind of your win con right now, and because there is so much removal in Carsi's deck, I don't know if you can actually rely on this atrocity later on. And even if you get an answer out of your opponent with it, that is just sort of one less piece of interaction that they have for the harrowing.
Huh. Very surprised to see the misrate come down. I mean, I guess you have to commit something on the side of Carsi because of that, but TF doesn't do a whole lot. There's no kegs.
The question is, how long can Carsi continue to just clear the board of Insulinado when they're attacking before, once Insulinado's board is wiped, Carsi can mount enough of an offense to win the game?
Yeah, yep.
And I think we actually are starting to get pretty close to that point.
Yeah.
Things are starting to get a little dicey for Insulinado here. I think right here, I would have liked to have seen Atrocity from Doom Beast onto the face, but not going to get it. And the harrowing on for 3 units doesn't feel great. The Risen Mist top deck, though, that's going to be
amazing.
Really big.
That is amazing. So this leaves Atrocity and Pale Cascade mana open. So this is definitely looking good all of a sudden for Insulinado, especially because the next attack turn we will yet again have harrowing. So depending on what Carsi plays, lots of options here. We could Pale to kill the Swain. We could Pale to push more damage through just for the win. I think we do that no matter what. And then even if there is a response to kill something, we respond with Atrocity. I think this is game.
That Risen Mist top deck was really big for Insulinado, and I think it was the tournament-winning play, SJW. Yeah, Carsi just going to have to pass it over here. Have the Calling Strike. I mean, Insulinado probably going to Pale Cascade. You know, you do want to be able to try and bait another answer out of your opponent, or at least just kill them in combat, and then you can go for the Atrocity if something comes out on one of your units. But I think at this point you are going to have the read that your opponent does not actually have an answer for, both of these units here. I think that it is better to Pale here.
There's no way you don't Pale here, right? What are you... Why would you... Okay. Whew!
Okay.
Whew!
and properly playing around the Calling Strike, diversifying the threat's going to throw it there. And yeah,
that's game.
Looking at Carsi's hand, we know that this isn't going to work out and doesn't actually even have anything to stop this. So Insulinado from Team Hydra, as I think Deech had mentioned in chat, that's a Hydra win on Fight Night, a Hydra win in the TLG Invitational, and now a Hydra win in the online league series. The LBR continues tomorrow into Tuesday. Can Hydra continue on this dominant warpath that they have set up for themselves pre-weekend?
Team Hydra taking it home for the OLS number 18. All right, so Hydra has done it. That other tournament, by the way, was Clash of Champions, Team Leviathan Gaming's Clash of Champions, won by Stan, also on Team Hydra. So, man, triple crown in the pocket of Team Hydra. Congratulations to Insulinado. Can actually find the interview for Insulinado as well that we did after the tournament. Going to be linked in the description below. That'll be over at my website if you guys want to go ahead and check that out. Love being able to interview some people after some sweet victories. And this was no different. Insulinado was hella happy he was able to take this one home. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys enjoyed OLS 18. Again, if you're looking to register for the next one, hit the Discord link in the description below to go to the OLS Discord. That's where you'll get the announcements when the next tournament goes live. That one's looking to have a $100 prize pool as well. I'm very excited to be able to bring you guys that when it does pop up. But as always, everybody, stay healthy, stay positive. I hope shit just works for you, and peace out.